Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into a really powerful ancient idea that honestly gets misunderstood a lot. We're going to take a completely new look at what the end of suffering actually means, not as something passive, but as a really active, empowering choice you can make.
So let's start with a question. We often think that to find peace, we have to fight our problems, wrestle them to the ground. But I want you to consider something else. What if it's not a fight at all? What if it's way, way simpler than that?
You know, when a lot of people first hear the term for the end of suffering, their minds jump to something kind of grim. They think of extinction or maybe just nothingness. And yeah, that can feel a little negative, maybe even a bit scary. And here's where the confusion really kicks in. The word we're talking about is Nirodha. And yeah, you'll often see it translated as cessation or extinction, which makes it sound like you just stop. But that translation totally misses the incredibly active and liberating meaning that's packed inside the original language. So, to really get what's going on, we've got to do what we do best here. We're going to break it down. We're going to look at the two parts of this word, Nirodha, to unlock its real, much more dynamic meaning. Okay, so the first piece of the puzzle is ni. You should think of this as an action. It means to turn something out or down. It's this decisive move to just cut a process off right in its tracks. And the second part is rhoda. This is all about pressure. Imagine a dam holding back a river or a wall. It's the barrier that's creating tension and strain because something is pushing against it. We all know that feeling, right? So when you put Nirodha and Radha together, the real meaning just clicks into place. See, Nirodha isn't about blowing up the dam. It's about stopping the flow of water that's creating all that pressure on the dam in the first place. It's about disconnecting the power source, not destroying the machine. All right, to make this idea even more solid, let's run through 4 really simple modern analogies. I think these are going to make this whole concept totally clear and practical for you. First up, I want you to imagine there's a really loud, annoying fan right next to you. That constant whirring noise, just think of it as some kind of stress or suffering in your life that just won't quit. Now, what do? You wouldn't try to stop the noise by jamming your hand in the blades, right? Of course not. That would be crazy. The most logical, simple, and effective thing to do is just pull the plug from the wall. And that's it. The blades might keep spinning for a second or two, but then silence. That incredible, profound quiet that rushes in once the power source is cut, that's Nirodha. Okay, analogy number 2. Picture yourself stretching a rubber band, like as far as it can possibly go. Really feel that strain in your fingers, that tension in your hand. Now think about this. The pain you're feeling isn't some property of the rubber band itself. It's coming directly from the energy you are using to hold it so tight. You are literally the source of the tension. So what's the solution? It's almost ridiculously simple. You just let go. The instant you release your grip, the tension is gone. That immediate flood of relief you feel? That's Nirodha. All right, let's bring this in to the 21st century. Imagine you're wearing a VR headset and you are completely lost in a game where some terrifying monster is chasing you. Your heart is pounding, the fear feels absolutely real. So the fear is real, but here's the thing. The monster isn't. It's just an illusion, a bunch of pixels being projected by a device you have strapped to your head. The threat isn't actually part of your reality. So you don't need to find some virtual sword to fight the monster. You just need to take off the headset. The moment you remove the source of the illusion, the fear just vanishes. That's Nirodha. And for our last one, let's go to the kitchen. You've got a pot of soup on the stove, and it's starting to boil over, bubbling and spitting and making a huge mess. Now you could try to force a lid on it or start scooping out the soup, but you'd just be fighting the symptoms. The actual cause of the problem is the fire underneath. The only real solution is to turn off the heat. And as soon as you cut off that fuel, what happens? The bubbling just naturally stops. The pot cools down, it becomes still. That return to a state of calm and coolness when the heat is gone, yep, that's Nirodha. So what's the big takeaway here? What do a noisy fan, a stretched rubber band, a VR monster, and a boiling pot all have in common? What are they really telling us about how this works in our own lives? Well, it reframes the whole thing not as some mystical belief, but as a simple, logical law of cause and effect. It's as certain as gravity. We feel pressure, right? That's the reality. And that pressure is being fueled by something. If you cut the fuel, the effect, the pressure, has to stop. It's inescapable. And this really is the whole point. Peace isn't something external that you need to go out and find or achieve. It's the natural state that's already there, waiting for you. It just reveals itself when you stop fueling the processes that create all the stress. The power to unplug is already in your hands. And that leaves us with a really powerful, really practical question to think about. If you look at your own life through this lens, what's your noisy fan? What rubber band are you stretching to its breaking point? What heat source is causing things to boil over? This ancient idea isn't just a philosophy, it's a tool you can start using right now.